8.3, student representative.
Present.
Thank you, please.
Start off, we had our winter formal. It was a little late, but that was back in February, and that's run by the junior class. And they had a very large attendance of 159 people, which is a lot for our Vasquez size. And they actually raised $2,200 for their class. So that's a really good start for them, or an addition to them for their prom, hopefully next year. We also had our road show, and that's when we had high school representatives go down to the junior high. And it was a huge success. All our representatives had a great turnout for sign-ups. I was there representing volleyball, and every club, as well as mine, had all these 8th graders eager to sign up for clubs, sports, everything alike. And then we have the beginning of our spring sports. They're all preparing to enter into league games, no more preseason. Those include swim, track, boys volleyball, baseball, and softball. And softball started out their league with a win. And then we had, just last week, a public speaker, a motivational speaker, I should say, named Mike Smith. And we all had a school-wide assembly. And he shared his message of being kind to those around you and just stop caring about material items. And just basically, if you're happy, like if you're nice to other people, you're going to really find what genuinely makes you happy. And that message really connected to all the students. We had a great positive attitude about that. And we all supported him by actually buying his beanies that he was selling, and a portion of those sales goes to his charity. And so everyone was really supportive of that. And then I'm also going to report on the Every 15 Minutes program that we had 2 weeks ago. It was a life-changing experience. I can talk from personal experience actually being involved in it. It was organized great. Everything ran smoothly. We didn't run into any bumps or glitches. And then we had a successful showing of the video and the assembly, and we had like a large tent set up on the field, so it was more than just the parents and like the students. Like we had community members if they wanted to come, other public speakers, so it was a really large event, and it was very successful. And we had all the testimonies from those involved, and it was just very moving for students, teachers, parents, everyone who experienced it. I know it definitely was very supported from the students, just hearing it around campus for days, weeks afterwards. Everyone was talking about it. It brought everyone closer as a whole from different social groups. I had people coming up to me just saying hi to me on another like normal day they probably wouldn't. And so it was just really impactful. And then, so that concludes my report.
Great job. And moving on to 8.4, VHS every 15 minutes.
What we have, we're going to, if you will, give us just a couple seconds. He's going to set that up. And we have a presentation for this every 15 minutes program. So
we're already giving you the student side. I just wanted to illustrate for the board also that it was a real victory of collaboration between state agencies, students, and administration. We had 2 great student leaders, Bernadette and Margaret Smith, our AC president, and one of the chair captains. They started working with me in October to arrange this with CHP, helping how to control the lower this. We also helped us in 2013, last time we did this. The greatest things we got out of it were the student morale lift and the increased closeness on campus for all the students. Tangible and noticeable even weeks after, as she had said. A lot of students expressing they're happy to be at Vasquez. They love the small community. They love the intimacy of our family that we have there. That was the greatest victory. Of course, in and of itself, the program is designed to instill aversion to DUIs or even just distractions. We kind of expanded it from driving under the influence to also driving while distracted, like texting, which is another tragedy that we see a lot. So we did a good job of blending that all together. What I wanted to show you is a video that was done overnight. It was all shot on the first day. It represents a mock accident scene. The students, Nikki was one of the students who was injured and killed, mock killed, in the DUI injury at school. You'll see some of the student faces, you'll see a lot of the emergency personnel, you'll see the judge in the court later, actually at a mock trial. All the different agencies from Palmdale Regional Hospital to the courthouse, and the judges there, all of them were 100% invested and met with us months in advance, planned this whole thing, wanted details, used details in their work with us. We're very happy. So we'll just show the students about 10 minutes, and it gives you a good summary of the first day and of the atmosphere, the intensity of the event.
Is it on our website also?
Yeah, you may have seen it. We have a post on our website. It's also linked on our Facebook from AADUSD. A lot of the students have already downloaded it.
Think about what you're doing and the lives you're impactful doing it. You know, how long that person could have missed. I don't know, honestly, this didn't think it would happen to me. You know, I wasn't that young. It didn't seem like it at least, and I figured I've seen other people do it, so why can't I do it?
Hi, I'm Officer Dennis with the California Highway Patrol. I'm looking for the parents of Nikki Lunde. They're not home right now. They're not home? No, they're on vacation. They're on vacation. And what's your relationship with Nicole? I'm her brother. You're her brother. Her older brother. Her older brother. Okay, how old are you? 20. Okay. Can you confirm where Nicole was going to school? Vasquez High School. Vasquez High School. Okay, is someone here with you? Yeah, this is my friend Amanda. Amanda, okay. It's possible for me to come in and unfortunately I said that yesterday. Come sit down. Yeah. And who's your name? Dylan. Dylan? And you're 20, right? Yeah, 20. And Anna is your friend? Okay. Unfortunately, in here, you gave some pretty bad news. Your sister Nicole was involved in, like I said earlier, in a really, really bad traffic collision in front of Vasquez High. Unfortunately, she died during the scene. She's dead. I'm going to give you a card. It has all the information about the crash. There's a phone number on here as well for the LA County Coroner's Office. All the information you need to have is on that card, including that phone number. And so what we can do is you can give your parents that information, but let's go ahead and just get your cell phone and let's call your parents, okay?
Prosecuted as an adult under California law, and convicted as an adult under California law, and now you've been sentenced accordingly. Your selfish decision to drink alcohol and drive is forever, and I do mean forever, change the lives of many in your school and in your community. And Mr. McGuire, there's no going back. Can't turn and say, I'd like to take it all back. I'm sorry. There is no going back. 3 young people are dead. Now one sitting here is permanently injured because of you, the blue woman. Mr. McGuire, your attorney asked for mercy. Your mother asked for mercy. The problem is, Mr. McGuire, you showed absolutely no mercy. The victims in this case. I think the testimony we heard today in a split second. That's how quickly you took the lives of 3 young people that you knew from your school, including your mom, who I feel the pain because you put her in an untenable situation. Because of what you did, she's still your mom and will always love you. But she has to now face the community, face everybody, consequences of what you did. I hope those words that you heard today echo in your head for the rest of your life. When you cross the center line in your vehicle in this case and get the victim's vehicle head on, blood alcohol of 0.12 as the evidence showed, or if you were to take a gun and shoot each victim dead, the results are the same. The pain and suffering is the same, and you will be punished the same. Let this be a warning to all, everyone in this courtroom and everyone in this community. No matter how smart you may be, no matter how strong you may be, no matter how successful you may be, no one, and I mean no one, can avoid the physical and mental effects of alcohol and drugs. So if you make the decision to drink and or to take drugs, you better make a decision not to drive, or else you'll be the next defendant before this court.
So the CAASP assessment includes the California Alternative Assessment, which would cover the SBAC, English Language Arts and Math, for the same grade levels, only for students with disabilities or that have special needs. The SBAC for ELA would be your basic test. It used to be the California State Test for English Language Arts or Math. And then because they have not created the SBAC for science yet, you still have the CST for science, the CNA for science, and the CAPA, which the CAPA will eventually be an additional component of the CAA. And then just to help you with all those acronyms, I gave you a little cheat sheet at the bottom. The SBAC assessment system has a number of components to it. In the last year, for instance, we had the computer adaptive assessment for ELA and math. And they also had a performance task where the students have a classroom activity, and from that, they then are tested on what they learned out of that classroom activity. This year, they've added the interim assessment, which is great for us because in the past, that was what we consider our benchmarks. So it was something that we either had to create ourselves or we had to purchase from a publisher. And so now the state is providing that for us. The other thing that they've given us is the digital library, and that has all different kinds of things for the teachers. It gives them tools for class. It's all aligned to the Common Core state standards. It gives them lesson plans, classroom activities. There's thousands of activities for them to use in helping them to make sure our students are prepared for the summative assessment.
Before you go on any further, quickly, so all of the tests on the first chart are still relevant tests and still being given? And the new components of it are specifically the SBAC tests?
Well, the SBAC was the new test that started last year.
The rest are heritage tests that are remanded?
The rest of the tests, such as the California Alternative Assessment, that one is basically covers the SBAC for ELA and math, except it's for students that have IEPs or 504s.
And the other tests at the bottom of the table are heritage tests that we're keeping, as opposed to some of them that were thrown out?
Yes, we're keeping those until they come up with the new science test.
I understand.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, Yes, English and math are the new tests, science are the old tests.
Yes.
Old stuff.
The other thing that they've done is because this is a computer program, they have universal tools, designated supports, and accommodations that are, some of them are embedded into the test, some of them are components that we have to add before the student takes the test, depending on whether they have an IEP or a 504. But the universal tools and the designated supports, which include things like universal tools might be highlighting or striking through something as they're doing the test. Those are things that are available to all students, including our English language learners. Accommodations cover students with disabilities, but whether they're regular general ed students or whether they're EL students, if they have disabilities, or special ed students, they would still have the universal tools and the designated supports available to them, but they would also have special accommodations that would allow them to have access to the test. The one tool that's really neat that so far our special ed teachers have been very excited about is the AADUSD. And this is something that you use along with your 504, your student study team needs, your IEPs. This actually allows the teachers to go in, put in what disability the student has, whether they're on a 504 or an IEP, and it tells them specific tools that they can use, which accommodations are a better match for the student that is being represented. So it's very much focused on what that student needs. Okay, so one of the things that we've had to deal with as far as the state testing is concerned is the accountability piece of it. And in the past, we've had the API and the AYP as kind of a meter for how we're doing. This year, last year they did not give us an API or an AYP score because it was considered a field test, and this year was supposed to be our baseline testing. This year they have voted to suspend the API and the AYP, so we will not be getting scores in 2016 for our testing, or tilted lights. So you will not get any API or AYP scores. I included in here some of the reasoning behind it. They're suspending it because of the no accountability system. They want to make it broader. In other words, there were very few criteria as to how we got the API or the AYP. Actually, the AYP included the API in their calculations. And so because of that, they're not prepared to give us the new scores based on that because they're trying to decide what criteria they're going to use. If you look at here for the high school, there's only 60% of the API that's coming from the testing results. So the rest of it would be people's preparedness for college and career. It would be the attendance data, graduation data. So they're changing the criteria for that. And then I also included, as far as the AYP is concerned, the state has recommended that 7 changes be made to the federal accountability workbook. And because of that, again, we won't have the AYP. Also, some of our schools are in program improvement. The Department of Education has proposed a waiver process where the state could apply for a waiver on the program improvement. California has done that. And so because of that, what will happen is if we are in year 2 of the PI, then we'll stay at that until they change the program. And then we'll move forward. And then finally, as you know, student work and data is one of the essentials that the district is focused on. And what we've done in order to improve that system is to increase student to technology ratio at each site. We've had, last year we purchased a number of Chromebooks for the students to take the tests with. We've also used we're using the state interim assessments so that our students are tech savvy. They know how to use the technology pieces and components of the
60% coming from test results, and 40% coming from other areas.
Other criteria, yeah.
Typically, the API is strict empirical data. It's based on how well you score on a test. It's measured, it's measured test. But 40% is going to come in terms of graduation data, pupil preparedness for college. What empirical data can you measure
That's part of the reason why.
someone's preparedness for college? I mean, how do you do that?
That's part of the reason why we're not able to get those scores right now. They're still working with how are they going to assess it, what is the criteria going to be. So that is one of the questions.
Do you have an understanding as to why they would apply 40% to such a criteria that is on its face difficult to measure?
Mark, I've heard rendition after rendition, and it'll probably change.
I mean, is it like an SAT score?
We don't know. We don't know.
Is it?
We've
I
heard
mean,
a
some
bunch
of
of
these
I don't
guesses.
know how you measure that.
You measure schools on more than just test scores because the country started, everybody started teaching to the test. You're right.
Which I never had a problem with. I
But-
don't know why we don't do that.
Well-
If you want somebody to pass a test, you teach
And
the
you're
test.
right, it's not clear how you measure, but graduation rates perhaps, those can be gained too. Preparedness for college, I don't know, percentage of kids who got their A through Gs or something like this. I mean, so we'll come up with something eventually, but you're right, it seems very squishy now.
It is very.
And then SAT, the entire test will change. This will be the last year, I think, of administration of the whole set. There's a whole new SAT coming out in the future.
So I'm just wondering how we as a school district,
How do we prepare?
prepare. I mean, you give them a set curriculum, you test them. It would seem to me that the SAT scores would be another empirical way of measuring college preparedness if the SAT is actually deemed to be associated with how well you're going to perform in college. I'm just wondering, because it's 40%, I mean, it's a big chunk. So I'm not sure how you measure that, and every school district is different. A through G requirements or A through G requirements, and you can go to Vasquez High School and do some completely different types of systems and programs, and so I mean, obviously you're not prepared to answer that question, but I'm just looking.
I wish I was.
I'm just wondering if you have even a remote idea as to what they would be looking at to apply 40% weighting.
I've heard everything you just mentioned and more. And it changes every time we go to different training, whatever. It's out there. They're still trying to determine that themselves, and using empirical data to be able to kind of assess that is the challenge. How do you do that? The old SAT had not zero, but very little correlation to how well students did in college. That's why they're changing it, because ACT was much more competitive in terms of evaluating effectiveness in college. The new SAT is supposed to evaluate that, so I've heard that. They may use components of that. Then there's, the whole new standards as far as our Common Core. Those are a lot more embedded in who knows.
I guess the biggest concern I have as a policymaker in trying to weigh the effectiveness of the district is that there's subjectivity that leads into the weighting factor. Something to the effect of, well, your API scores, your true measurable empirical measurement is low, but we really like the way you tried. We really like the programs you put in place, even though they didn't work very well. And that bothers me because it's a wet noodle. And how do you?
I haven't heard any of that. I don't know if you have, but I haven't heard any anecdotal evidence.
The only thing that I have heard is the issue of sometimes I'll have the schools call all of their graduating class to say, okay, do you have a job? Do you have you been accepted into a college?
Well, that's squishy too.
After 5
That's
years,
the only other thing I would
I mean, you can look at scattergrams on the internet, comparing GPAs to SATs at any given university, and you can plot where you're at, and whether you fall in the middle or to the left or the right of the acceptance bubbles on those scattergrams. And to me, but it's all self-reporting. But to me, there could be some considerable value to that if they want to scattergram all the schools based on how many kids apply to universities, but then what level of university do you measure? A UC versus a Cal State versus a private college, so it'll be interesting to see what they come up with, considering the level of weight that they're applying to.
It's also very difficult right now. They're literally changing things on a daily basis as far as the testing and how that's done. So we're still working through a lot of things on that.
What's the general consensus of the education community as far as the 5 years now?
We haven't had it for that. We've had it for 2 years.
This is our second.
Second.
The country is
No, it all started this.
Yeah, there are
2 years ago. This is our second year.
There are 26 states that are using the.
Yeah, but it goes up and down. Some states are opting out, so
So, yeah.
I wouldn't say 26.
Right. Right.
Indiana recently pulled out.
Yeah, there's a couple.
So do these states have the right to,
If they want to lose federal funding, or the threat of loss of federal
how
funding.
much?
That's why California stayed in, didn't want to lose federal funding.
Most of the
It's a federal
state's funds come from federal funding, or is it mostly from the state?
Well, whatever percentage of federal funding we get
You're
now,
not gonna get.
we run the risk of losing if we don't adopt comprehensive. And
I hadn't heard that they were linked at this point.
what's that?
Federal funding that was out
Well, it was one of the reasons why California stayed in.
I hadn't heard that they were linked.
They're linked. Now,
But
whether they ultimately actually take the money away from you, the threat is there.
At any rate, the jury's obviously still out. I mean, I'm living it every day with the new Got a kid who comes home with worksheets and says, I don't understand this. And I go and ask for the book, and it's not in the book. But, you know, jury's still out.
Our time, Janet.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It is reassuring to know that you're, that we have somebody who can dedicate their time to understanding and keeping us up to speed with this being a small district. That's important.
But as soon as we get definitive information, obviously we'll be backing up. But
Like I said, it's reassuring that we understand what's out there, we're still studying it,
Right.
you know, we're not all unified with a whole team on something.
It's kind of like quitting your job before you find what you want. The state chose to drop API, but didn't have another system to replace it with. And now we're in year 2 with no way of measuring using historical data. We have no way of measuring where we're going better, or we're going worse, where are we?
correct.
And so we're operating in line year 2. And that's another concern, because they dumped API before they instituted the new program. There was no seamless transition. All right.
Thank you very much. Moving on to 8.6, VHS instruction.
I don't have a lot to report today. I'll have a bunch more on the 23rd. I'm going to withhold some of the stuff just because it hasn't come to fruition yet. So we're going to retain that just a bit. And then we'll have a pretty broad report on the 23rd, which will be our next board meeting.
You want to retain the thing that you talked about?
And,
It's not coming full
it
fruition.
definitely is, but I kind of want to wait until it's
Very
actually
good.
the account. So,
Okay, 8.7, superintendent report.
yeah, so part of what I wanted to do in combination with A6 and A7 is talk a little bit about our developer fee study. We are going to have that complete. I should have a report for you again on the 23rd. It should have a completed date. We have just a little bit of data left to crunch. I did talk to our developer fee study guys and basically told them, let's go, what's going on. And so they should have a complete report, and they will be able to present that to you.
Oh, they'll be briefing it?
Yes. Okay. So we'll have a better report for you and have all the answers for you on the 23rd. That's the goal. Now I put it out there, I gotta have it done, but my goal is the 23rd. Okay.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
we'll
much.
let you forget now.
I
Thank you,
know.
Doctor.
Should have withheld that date, huh? No, we should have it done by then.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
You bet.
8.8, Mr. Fox, hold on.
Sure, I'll start. Ty, when you were up here doing your thing, I didn't want to laud the school's achievements, until it came time, so now it's time. You guys did an amazing job. I have 2 kids at the school, and they both came home impacted. I would like to think my kids might not do that, but there's all this, there's always that pressure out there, and even when they get to college, there's all that pressure. And so it was definitely impacting, and I think that's, it's an awesome program. And to that end, everybody here knows by now I work down by LAX. I work with a lot of people who their kids go to school either in Palisades or Torrance or the beach cities, and I'm always benchmarking. And people here should know, I've got, specifically, I check notes with a friend whose kids go to Torrance South High, a very highly ranked school, big school. They don't do every 15 minutes. And so, although it's available, I think we should commend those at our school and administration and out at the sites who are actually taking advantage of what's available, especially when it's a program as moving as that. I can't understand why they aren't. I sent him the link, and he said, wow, we never heard that here. The same goes for the Medal of Honor program. It's remarkable. So why they choose not to, whether it's because they've got so much other stuff going on or what have you, I don't know, but I think it's important that people know here that their school system is out there and is bringing in really good programs that are very, very meaningful. And so thank you all, and I don't know if you realize just how few schools don't participate when they should be. So anyway, so good on both those things, and will we be discussing the SARC reports a little bit later?
Yes.
Okay.
They're consent, so if you want to break it
So
up.
yeah, so the SARC reports are out there, and I'd like to say, I read them, I pour through all that data, and I think in all fairness, we need to, as we talked about the good things, we should also talk about things that we should be disappointed in, and certainly I am. And specifically, Vasquez did great, the numbers are up. Meadowlark, the numbers aren't always up, but Meadowlark's always pretty high. I'm a little disappointed, and I just asked the folks in administration at the middle school to double down on the math there. It's clear when you look at the report that our math numbers at junior high aren't that great, and they're not that great at Vasquez compared to state averages, but they're better, which says that maybe we're making up some lost ground. So as we're considering what to do with extra resources, or something I heard very promising, I don't know if I really understood it all the way, the intervention programs we're pioneering at Vasquez, if we can bring them down to the middle school, we got to do something about math over there. So, other than that, our science is good, and our English is good, and our science is actually great over there. Our history is good, it's just that there's a math problem. And I think you guys know that, and the data's just there, and it tells us that again. So, my kids go there. It's a great school on balance. We just did a wonderful thing with the Schools to Watch program, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't be honest about places where we should be turning up the game. And math there is one of them for me.
Absolutely agree.
So I'd like to see what we can do, whether it's extra tutoring or lower student-to-teacher ratios if our finances allow it, specific to math, as we move
We're
forward.
going to discuss that in that May revised.
Professional development,
Absolutely.
we need to do something. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fox, for so eloquently expressing it. Mr. Distasso?
Yeah, I attended the School to Watch award ceremony that we had last week, whatever it was, they just gave me. I was very impressed with the way it was done. I actually wasn't expecting to have such a large, detailed program, and I think the school should be, and the administration and the students should be very proud of the program that we put on in support of that award. It
it's one of the better ones that I've seen as a 9-year school board member. A comment about the every 15 minutes, and this could actually be done, but it can't be done in mass, so it makes it somewhat impractical. They show the CHP officer making a death notification to the parents. It's really too bad that we can't send kids on an actual death notification. I've had to make countless numbers of them throughout a law enforcement career, and it's one of the hardest things as a police officer that you have to do, to approach a total stranger and inform them of the death of a child, or a husband, or a brother, and you want to get somebody's attention is to watch the reaction of the person you're making the notification to, and how that impacts them just out of the blue. It's a pretty tough thing, and this is a little twist that I haven't seen in other every 15-minute programs, where the program went beyond the traffic accident scene and actually, we've seen hospital stuff before, and we've seen obviously the collision location, but this was a new twist that I think was probably an added hit for the students to watch, to see that. And to do one in person and experience one in person is 10 times what you can see on that video. It's something else. Anyway, my last comment is and Mike alluded to this during our budget study, and I just wanted to address it again and reinforce it, that Mike and I met with a group of parents several weeks ago, and one of the issues that were brought up was the crowd that can develop inside the office here at Meadowlark, and the delay in getting them serviced, and at least a perceived lack of office staff. So, considering the health of our budget, and as we start to look for ways to improve our education, I want to reinforce that I'd like to see an evaluation as to our office staff at the school, and having site administration make a determination as to whether more staff is needed. I'm not suggesting that we necessarily need a full staff of folks.
I did some research. We actually voted in January to add a position. Just for that. You and I.
We did?
Yes. We did. You and I were behind, and we couldn't tell the parents, two of whom were sitting, one of them was sitting right there, that it was actually, we are already rectified it because we approved the position for additional staff in Colorado.
We gone through the interview process, and it took some time to get him in the seat, but you guys,
I wish I
that, and we
remembered everything we do here.
That's fine. I want to make sure that we're responsive to needs like that.
Yeah. And I contacted Mrs. Buckskemper to look for Mrs. Moskowitz's email so I could tell her directly. But it's okay, just pass on the word, because it was Mrs. Moskowitz that was concerned. We remedied that. We actually did it before she mentioned it. We just didn't know we did it.
I haven't heard any feedback at any of the other schools in regard to it, so presumably they're okay. But, you know, this school has certainly picked up on its attendance because of the whole thing.
We actually increased hours from what it was previously, so we've taken care of that. We took care of it back in January, but it just took some time to actually get somebody in that seat.
But, I've been in the other two offices because I have kids at the other two schools, and it's true, they seem, at least to me as a casual observer and a parent, adequately staffed. I could see that one person here would seem inadequate, and that has been fixed.
I've got the form that was in my packet for Yolanda at the high school regarding cap and gown order forms. Are we changing something, or is this for those who don't have them already?
We have one, and it's in good enough shape, Mark, you can ignore it. We just want to
Okay.
There were a few that came back last year that needed to be replaced. So I asked her to give that to all the board members, and we were going to set them as a...
Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure. I
from Jostin, so there's no additional expense.
didn't want to show up in a style that's different, or something that's not black, and say, well, you didn't get the memo, did you? So I just want to make sure that it's basically the same thing if we already have it. Because I retain mine at my residence.
Which I thought that was the change. What Lucy told me today.
There were a few that had come back that we held on to. It was just time to replace them. We were just trying to get the board to give us sizes and dance.
But if it's in good shape and it's not tied up in a knot,
You're good.
then we're good to go. All right.
Coincidentally, I did want to make a comment in regard to the front desk staff at Vasquez High, because right now you were saying you don't know if there's any issues in the other schools or not. What I have just recently had the chance to deal with them because of an attendance issue, and my son had the flu for a while, and he missed some days. It's the first time he's missed school since 6th grade, so I had to, take the notes back and everything, and back and forth with doctors, and it just seemed to be that there's a really good protocol in Vasquez. You walk in, there's people willing to help you, and it kind of streamlined, where you go in. So it seemed to be customer service at the front desk at Vasquez, from my experience. In the last few weeks, it's been pretty good. The other thing I wanted to make a comment on, I heard about this motivational speaker, Mike Smith, I think.
Yes.
And that was a really good thing, because I heard from some of my son's friends about him, and they'd taken pictures with him and stuff, and it just seemed to be a different level of appreciation of this guy as opposed to some of the other speakers.
Yeah, he was very relatable, and he came from a town that was small, and a lot of the things he was saying, everyone was like, yeah, I totally understand. A lot of it related really similar to Vasquez. And then there was an hour after school from 3 to 4 where he stayed, and just anyone could go up and just interact with him. So it was a more interactive feel as opposed to the assembly. And a lot of people attended that. And it wound up expanding past its time, going, it was 3 to 5 by the time everyone was like, okay, we gotta go, we gotta wrap this up.
Yeah. I think, whoever chose that was a very good choice, and certainly a higher caliber of not only entertainment, but also connecting with the kids and having a good example for them. So thank you for that. Okay, Mr. Layton?
No comments this evening.
Thank you, sir. 1 minute of the regular meeting. Has everyone had a chance to check those out? The 9.2 warrant register, SART report, and the 9.4 donations from Mr. David Thomas, 20-inch Apple iMac computer. Do I have a move for 9.8?
I'll move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Moving on, 10.0. Educational Student Services, 10.1, public hearing, Community Collaborative Charter School petition, K-12. Going to open the hearing at 8:27 p.m.
Okay, so I'm Ryan Woodard, this is Cory Cavanah. I work from Community Collaborative Charter School. We're actually in operation right now in the San Diego County, sponsored through Mountain Empire Unified. That's our first year. Right now we have about 285 students. It's really been a successful year, but really I just want to talk a little bit about us and what we value and how we, some really good comments today just about the API and AYP, and I know things are changing immensely from day to day, but really we kind of wanted to build our whole program on the platform of more college and career readiness. So a little bit about me real quick. I have been a special education teacher and administration in Southern California for the past 11 years. I was a former principal in Bonneville, California, and then vice president of the CIF Frontier League Conference. And then currently I'm the executive director at Community Collaborative Charter School. So who are we? The big thing for us is our mission is to promote social, emotional, academic, and career skill development for all learners. So we offer homeschooling, we offer virtual learning, and then actually we do a Workforce Investment Act partnership that we promote personal well-being, creativity, citizenship, lifelong learning, and employability. And really the big thing for us here, you guys, is that we start with the end in mind. That's the big thing. So when students enroll in Community Collaborative, we explore what they would like to do as adults first.
We complete interest inventories, strength finder assessments, and academic assessment to help find the plan that's right for each and every student. And honestly, that plan is ever changing. It's always evolving. But we want to start that immediately because we have to know where we're going and how we're going to get there. And so really, goals are going to change, but really it's that goal development that we really promote. You guys look on the next slide over here. What really kind of sets us apart right now, though, is that when a student enrolls any time of the year, we make sure that we develop a baseline of reading, writing, language usage, and math. And we usually use NWEA math assessments to determine those baselines. You guys are familiar with that. Once the baseline is established, teachers prepare an individualized learning plan for each and every child. It's not just academic, though, you guys. It's more social, emotional, too, and academic well-being, because we have to make sure that they're ready and they absolutely have the skills necessary to acquire new knowledge before we actually present that knowledge to them. So we develop an individualized learning plan for each student. It's absolutely, we go over it weekly with the student when our weekly meetings. One thing to note, though, is we are completely 100% independent study. And so it's important for you guys to know that, because the individualized learning plan absolutely drives the plan for each and every student. All right? Student has the option to complete the individualized learning plan online, on-site, or a combination of both. But that's really what sets up our different programs we offer right now.
Corey.
No.
Okay, so we offer 3 different programs at Community Collaborative. We offer virtual learning, we offer homeschooling, and then as I talked about, I'll talk about at the end over here, we do a partnership with the Workforce Investment Act that has a different option for 18 to 24-year-old youth. So, virtual learning, it's an option for students to complete work online and that's catered to their own style via the individualized learning plan. To facilitate learning, our teachers provide personalized instruction with extra help via phone, Skype, we have a digital whiteboard, and then email communication with students. We have a flexible program that is distraction-free, bully-free, if you will. We make sure that the students absolutely can thrive in that environment. Again, though, it all depends on their individualized learning plan. The second option we have is a homeschooling option, where we really tailor to the kids' specific learning style with their interests and passions. And actually, I don't know if we're able to show it, but we actually have a lot of enrichment classes that we offer on-site to students 1 day a week. We have that option. Again, though, it's completely optional up to them, nothing's mandatory. But in our little slide, we have a robotics class that's actually booming, which is great, but it's all kind of trying to base on the next generation science standards that we're still trying to get figured out. That's another story. But then our third option we offer is the Workforce Investment App, and that's a big one for us right now because really the purpose of our program is to partner with people. I don't know all the answers, but we're here to work with people that absolutely can gain skills necessary for employability. So students that actually enroll in our program will work a typical 40-hour work week with the Workforce Investment Act. So really, they set up the jobs in the beginning, whether it's even from volunteering as a pollster, if there's something for election night or something like that that's going on. But they set up jobs for them in the beginning, but then that's just to get them in the program and get them started. All right. I mean, these kids really have lost hope at the time, and so we're really trying to instill hope and absolute attitude that, you know what, we can make it together over here. So we provide academics for them after the 40-hour work week, and again, it's based on the individualized learning plan. So they may come in 1 or 2 times a week for absolute skill development and progress within a GED program or a high school diploma. But then that's really not enough for us because, you know, what are we providing? We're only providing the education, but we want to make sure that they stay employed when they leave high school. And so really that's the kind of platform we're using with Edmentum and Edgenuity, our online curriculum program. And what they specialize in, what I think they do a fantastic job, is the career technical education side of it. So, for example, we have students right now that are working diligently in our healthcare industry as far as medical technicians. So they're getting the skills right now necessary, and actually they are taking tailored CTE, career technical education classes in Edgenuity, our online curriculum, that actually gear them towards that skill and towards that job. Yes.
Do you collaborate with employers to get the kids jobs?
Oh, yes.
Is it sort of
Yes.
they do it in Europe all the time.
Yes.
The word is
Exactly, yeah.
Job
That's
placement,
actually,
a mentorship
job
type
like,
of thing. Or,
apprenticeship.
that's actually where it started, is the LA Chamber of Commerce, and actually they stole that idea from the United Kingdom. So, completely.
So
Really
partnership
though,
with
we
the
partnership with the Workforce Investment Act. It's actually a federally funded program, and they provide the employability side, we provide the educational side, and we work together to make sure that they graduate and stay employed after graduation.
That's their job.
That's
You're
their job.
partnered with them, and so you try to tailor the education to reinforce the on-the-job training, let's say, that they're picking up in one of these fields.
Absolutely, yes. And careers may change though, and that's okay. We're okay with that. And the great thing about the digital content curriculum called Edgenuity, formerly E2020, is really they are the ones that are really pioneering the CTE side of it. Used to be formerly known as ROP, really, but they're making a big effort to really push healthcare, engineering, computer programming. So kids really are trained with real-world skills to make sure they develop into a 21st century learner that can contribute in a global economy. Is very important for them. So, So the big thing for us too is that we're not here just to give you a spiel. I mean that because I'm here to run a school. I'm here to make sure that the school is sustainable. And one of the things I think that it's really, we're here to collaborate with you. I don't know all the answers, but there's some great things in the room. I mean, I definitely want to start looking into the 15-minute thing. I didn't even know that was an option right there. I mean, I immediately want to explore that for our students. So it's not just a pitch to you guys to say, here, please authorize us. Really, it's here, we want to work together. We want to share best practices. And also, we want to learn some stuff from you. I mean, I want to see if I can hire Janet on the side. I mean, she's fantastic with the statewide assessment. That's no easy task. But, and I think really that we come in from a two-pronged attack where it's like, we are going to help with education, and Cory is going to help on the back end as far as business services. So, Cory?
Yeah, like I said, Ryan did a great job explaining their program. Really, my role in this is to advocate Ryan and their education program, and then make sure he doesn't have to worry about numbers. And I keep the school afloat, so he can keep students coming in the doors every day.
I don't know if that was 3 minutes.
That's good.
Yeah. You guys are good.
Any questions from the board?
Any questions?
Let's start that one. Yes, so I understand it's 100% online or homeschool learning or the partnership, but then you said the virtual learning is either online or on a site?
No, virtual learning is online, 100%. So traditional school students usually, they do a good job of meeting the needs of the middle of the pack, if you will.
Now, I understand in general, what kind of student would be attracted to the charter environment, but specifically for your setup.
It's the same.
How would you?
It's the same issue. We get both ends of the spectrum, but it's a student that's looking. I mean, we always say like we don't believe in grade level. We believe in making sure that we're teaching towards skills. And we're making sure we're teaching towards employability and life. So if a student who wants to come in our program that absolutely wants to excel at their own rate, or maybe needs some different assistance, some intervention, some extra help because they don't have the skills necessary to maybe compete, we're able to make sure that they're able to do that own individualized, personalized plan.
How do you attract the students to you? How does, let's say I'm a parent looking for a student for such an environment. How does one find you?
Well, we have a
How do you
website.
set yourself apart from the rest?
Okay, so how we set ourselves apart from the rest right now, honestly, is partnerships and working within the community itself. That's the number one thing. So if we are to locate somewhere, if we are to be somewhere, we're really going to work hard in that area, the 1 to 2 mile radius, and try to hit fairs. Try to make sure that we're at markets. Kids where, places where kids and families are going to go that are looking for an extra option. For example, the Del Mar Fairgrounds in San Diego. Okay, that's a big popular attraction. They do a lot of education fairs throughout the year. We want to make sure that we're promoting our brand and who we are as a school so we can serve students the right way.
So in our case, you would be promoting LA County?
We would be promoting in LA County, yeah.
Is there, I mean, you're moving north, you already have your established program, so have you already found a pre-existing market for your school in this area north of San Diego? Or?
Yeah, we have a market for that, yeah. And we're in the process of that right now. I'm one to not really over-promise, so, yeah.
But what do you have?
Yeah.
But in terms of moving up here, because there's, you found a pre-designated market for your school?
Yes, yes. We've been very successful in what we do, and honestly, we really do what's best for kids. I'm not just saying that. So we always focus on everything student-led, everything student-centered, and really, like I said before, our big thing is kind of break down the barriers of, you know, progression from one grade to the next grade. And I think you were talking about this earlier with the AYP and API. Really, we're focusing on learning. We're focusing on progression of learning, and not just, you know, trying to beat a test.
So, I know you don't want to get into specific employees or market yet, but you say you have an idea. So where do you think that you want to put this learning center?
We have no plans for a learning center currently right now. We do have interest from the homeschool market.
And in what area specifically?
I mean, specifically it's LA County. I mean, it could, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all we're going to get.
Yeah. No, being honest with you, I don't.
It sounded like, well, we think that, you know, we're going to do our recruiting. We're very sensitive people.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
I'm going to close the hearing at 8:46 p.m. Moving on to 11.0, personnel services. All personnel considered for employment by the governing board are approved pending completion of FBI/DOJ background check prior to commencing services. 11.1, approval of coaching personnel, employee number 141514. Do I have a move? I'll second it. Any discussion?
Yeah, sure. I'd like to thank the administration and the folks out at Vasquez. We have a really successful track program. I think there was something like 50 kids in it out of the 450 that go there. So right there, that's a great thing because all sports get kids involved. Specifically, the fact that that program is so successful and has such large numbers says two things to me: that I think it's appropriate that we got help for that teacher and an assistant coach, and also that way we don't burn around. So I appreciate your doing that, and that's a really successful program. It's really good for the kids, and we're helping ensure it stays. Good kids, it's a lot.
All in favor? Aye. 401. 11.2, approval of classified employees. It's recommended the board approve the following classified employees: 141515 through 519. Do I have a move? I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor?
They're all funded, right?
Yes. Aye. Aye, Mike. Thank you. 12.0, business and financial. 12.1, approval of contract with Jack Schroeder and Associates.
I'll move.
Mr. Fox, do I have a second? Second. Thank you, Mr. Layton. Discussion?
I was looking for the enclosure. I'm not sure why it didn't show up. It's in there.
I thought I saw it.
Should have it in there. I don't know.
Sometimes these things mysteriously drop off the Dropbox. Have you noticed that before?
Sometimes they do. Yeah, so sometimes, but I have it right here. It's actually in its own folder, Mark.
I mean, I've noticed a few things.
Associates, its own folder. It's not in the actual agenda, it's in its own folder.
It's gone.
I currently have 3 documents there. And I hate to tell you this, but that contract and that issue is already closed. Good thing.
Just in case it's a job.
Yeah. You want to see him here?
Well, it's on there, but it's not loading.
I think it's, so what we're talking about here is a potential contract to make sure, to hire a consultant if need be, to ensure that the money that got approved actually makes it into the bank account. So we just,
And this is,
the state is a complicated place, and we just want to make sure it gets to the bank.
Did he talk to you about
Yes.
control? So
Yes.
it's already done.
I know, but
Just a
till it's in
job.
the bank, I will be out. Which is what he was alluding to at the next
Exactly.
meeting.
I'm making.
It's like sending in your tax
Like a
return receipt to make sure
They want to welcome again. It's just the whole thing is not good. That's the problem. It's, how come?
Yep. Larry's got it. Come on.
I wanted to clarify what we mean.
Okay. All right. But there's other reimbursements.
for actual.
Okay.
All right, all in favor? Aye. 401. Future agenda items, we just talked about the residual construction funds. I know the staff is doing the late start school day study. Any requests for additions to future agenda items? Seeing none, moving to 14.0. Our next meeting is the 23rd of April, followed by May 14th. So because of spring break, we don't have the first meeting of April.
We're going to have a date for you as well at that April 23rd meeting for potential budget study as requested by Mr. Distasso. So we'll have some ideas for you when we'll have some scenarios for you as per your request.
Well,
We should also have a good idea for phase 3 expenditures out of the Vasquez High School project. And I hate to, because of the delays and some of the things we've experienced, we're developing that again now. So as soon as we can get that done, we're going to bring that back to you as well.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Woodard. 15.0 closed session. The board in closed session at 6:39 p.m. And we discussed several issues, two of which I'm reporting on here. There was the board considered a settlement agreement, and by a vote of 4-0 with one board member absent, unanimous vote, the board has approved the settlement agreement. The agreement resolves a claim by LAUSD against the district and the Albert Einstein Academy for Letters, Arts, and Sciences Odyssey Charter School arising from the district's approval of the Odyssey's charter petition. And secondly, the board took action to approve a stipulated expulsion for student number 14.15-4124 by a vote of 4-0, one board member absent. That's it. There's this part where it's moved by and all that, 15.1. You don't need to do that. That shows up.
We did that already before the meeting.
Exactly. Okay, 16.0 adjournment. 16.1, do I have a move? I'll second it. All in favor of adjournment at 8:53? Aye. 401.